Hayley Guest. Hayley's a head teacher at East Park Academy. Hayley, great to see you. Thank you for joining us this Sunday afternoon. A general snapshot from the top. What's your take on the state of schools running up to the Christmas break?
I know I speak on behalf of many leaders across the country at the moment who know that our education system and our schools are on their knees at the moment. What we've been struggling with for the past 2 years with the significant disruptions that we had this big, bright hope at the start of this academic year that all the restrictions were going to be lifted, we were going to be getting back to normal. It is far from normal. And although it's not as reported on as widely as it once was, we have got the staffing implications that we have are significant. Children, the infection rate amongst our children is vast. I've had over 60 children just this half term confirmed positive. I had a situation 3 weeks ago where all of my nursery staff were positive, which shut down the provision for pretty much 2 weeks. It's really, really tough.
Are you at all confident that given there's a couple of weeks to go until they break up, then there's about 3 weeks for the actual holiday itself, so let's call it 5 weeks for the sake of argument. How ready are you to welcome them back fit for purpose come the first week of January?
It's amazing how school holidays throughout this pandemic have been regarded as the miracle, the solution, you got a holiday coming up, it's going to be fine when you go back. It's not. And that period of time is short to put back in place what our children and what our staff need. Restrictions have crept back in for schools, still not communicated well. At the drop of a hat, we had a whole set of new guidance once announcements were made last week on the Sunday evening before we returned on the Monday, and they needed to be in place that week. So that communication doesn't help. January, not far away at all. And will we be back to any sort of normal still? Very, very doubtful.
Love to try and be positive as well. Has the pandemic given you and your team any insights into how to do things better? I remember talking to my own daughter, who's a former head, and to Robert Halfon about it, and said, yeah, online learning we had to go to because force majeure, we didn't have any choice. And actually, there are lots of things that can be done there, and even getting people like Joe Wick to do videos that can help the kids do PE with a big smile on their face. Have you picked up any positive lessons?
Certainly, IT skills for everyone, for children and for staff, have rocketed through the roof, really. They now have means of working differently, working slightly more efficiently, which is great. We certainly wouldn't want to let any of that go. But it's really important. That doesn't replace that live quality first wave teaching for our young people. But certainly taking some of those lessons that we had to learn during that period it will be really worthwhile and put us in a better position moving forward. OK, 2 final questions. Are Ofsted looking at the right things and doing it in the right way? No. Ofsted are a significant pressure for schools. And I'd like to see Ofsted turned completely on its head and they actually come into schools to work side by side with schools. It is not a place to continue judgment at the moment. We are all in a really difficult position and we've got some really skilled people within Ofsted. Let's put them alongside schools to help and support them rather to continually be in judgment and put this pressure upon staff.
Yeah. And to be crystal clear to folk listening to this, because I really want them to understand this, because I think we are in the same boat on this one. We're not knocking Ofsted or what it exists to do. We're looking at how they do it and making for a better future, just rather than saying, you're no good, get it better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about working in partnership with them and taking the best from that organisation and supporting our schools. We don't want Ofsted to be used to continue to damage education in the place that it is at the minute. It's a pressure that's not needed. You see over in Guernsey, it's very tempting to move to Guernsey at the minute if you're a leader. Ofsted has been suspended until the start of the new academic year. Somebody somewhere is saying something sensible.
I didn't know that. Finally, an emotional pause, because it is a different subject, but it relates to it. I said in my introduction that Robert Halfon was one of many, yourself included, who are concerned about well-being. What do you believe that school leaders like yourself can learn from the tragedy of the death of Arthur Labinio-Hughes?
Such a tragic incident that's taken place, and unfortunately not one on its own. We know as school leaders, we work in partnership with other agencies that allow us to help and support and safeguard our young people. It must be acknowledged the impact that's been felt upon social care at the minute. Social care is really feeling the last couple of years, and we know, working with social workers, working with strengthening family workers, some of our most vulnerable families are not getting the level of support they once would have. I'd like them to take those millions that they are currently investing in Ofsted to ensure that every school is inspected by 2025, and to get them to put it into social care, where we can, hand on heart, know that we are safeguarding all our young people wherever they are.